NXT Vengeance Day takes place this Saturday in Washington, D.C. from the Vaquer First Arena. This will be the 5th official Vengeance Day event in NXT. So currently on the card we have 6 matches listed, and I'm going to give you my predictions for each match. And obviously there's something else going on because they've been teasing at the end of NXT episodes something's coming. We saw this last night at NXT where we saw 4 people in the background, like 4 shadows. So clearly there's going to be an arrival of a group in NXT. I really don't know what it is. I can't tell you. I would like to know. I would like to have an idea, but part of me is happy that I have no really clue. I really just am oblivious to it, because once it does happen, we're going to get to see that surprise, and I think the reaction will be more organic. It'll be something like we didn't see cupping, like Ricky Starks on NXT this past Tuesday night. No one thought Ricky was going to be there. I didn't think he'd be there at all. I thought he'd come eventually, and I think he'd be there. And when he came, it was actually awesome when he made his first debut. So, we'll see what that surprise is. Now, let's get on to the matches. First, we have Ethan Page against Javon Evans. So this is basically a match about Javon Evans having a broken jaw. And it's not an unsanctioned match. I think there probably should be a stipulation. Maybe they do multiple matches. I can see a situation where Ethan Page wins. But I feel it's more likely that Javon Evans wins. So I'm picking Evans. I think this will be a series of matches, especially because they did such a good angle where they had Page crush Javon's jaw, basically, with that chair. That usually hurts your neck, but I guess it hurt his jaw. And they're setting it up. So I think this should be a series of matches. I can see a situation where Ethan Page uses the jaw, he attacks Javon's jaw and wins. That could happen, but I just feel like Javon's more likely to win. And I don't know if they want him to lose to Ethan Page too much in this feud. But I think this will be a multi-series match, and I'm picking Evans to win this matchup. Next, we get a strap match. The most predictable outcome on the entire card. We have Trick Williams against that loser Eddy Thorp, who I do not like. I see nothing in Eddy Thorp. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't see him as a star. I find him incredibly boring. I don't like his character. I don't care for anything he does. I just feel like this is such an easy match for Trick, and I just feel like they're doing something for Trick. They're basically giving him a match, giving him a program before he goes to the main roster, because I don't think they want to have him lose to Oba Femi again. So he's just wrestling Eddy Thorp right now so he doesn't lose to Oba Femi one more time before he goes to the main roster. So Trick's beating Eddy Thorp. I don't think anyone in the world thinks Eddy Thorp's going to win this match. Next, the NXT Tag Team Championship. On the line here, we have Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura challenging the NXT Tag Team Champions, Axiom, Nathan Frazer, and Axiom. Again, no title change here. Nathan Frazer and Axiom are one of the best tag teams in NXT in several years. I'm starting to put them in the category, the amount of great matches they've had, as DIY or The Revival. They're up there as one of the best tag teams in the history of NXT. They are an awesome freaking team. They go in there every single show and they have the best match. They have single-handedly elevated the tag team division. Unfortunately, the big problem in this match is there's a huge size discrepancy, so it's going to hurt the match. I think it might take people out of it because it's so obvious, and sometimes it hurts it. I've seen it happen other times in NXT where they have a size discrepancy, and the smaller guy's the babyface, and then he goes and tries to have a great match. It's hard to really buy it because of the size difference, and I think that's going to be the biggest challenge in this match. So Briggs and Inamura had a solid match on NXT this past Tuesday. It was a good matchup. So when they go into this match with Axiom, they're going to have a good match. It's just I don't know how much that's going to affect it. As to who wins, Nathan Frazer and Axiom are going to retain the NXT Tag Team Champions. They are not losing the belts before Stand and Deliver in Las Vegas during WrestleMania weekend. They're the best tag team NXT's had in several years. It would be a travesty to take those belts off of them. Not happening. Next, we have the NXT Women's North American Championship. The North American Championship for the men's was defended on NXT this past Tuesday when Tony D'Angelo defeated Ridge Holland in the steel cage match. But for the NXT Women's North American Championship, we have the champion representing Fatal Influence. We have the champion, Fallon Henley, defending her belt against Stephanie Vaquer. So, Fallon and her stable Fatal Influence. You're going to see JC Jane involved. You're going to see Jasmine next, but not much because she has a broken nose. So, they'll be around. I'm not sure who's going to help Stephanie because we do have the situation where Giulia's in her own match. I don't think Giulia will interfere, but I can see him trying to get involved. I don't think they'll have a huge impact on the outcome because Fallon Henley, who I like Fallon Henley, she ain't winning this matchup. Stephanie Vaquer is a superstar. She is great. I think she has very talented ring. I think she has a good look to her, a unique look. I think her English is okay. I think it's a little bit better than Giulia's, to be honest. But she's Chilean. I think she's done very well. I really like her. I don't think she should lose to Fallon. Even though I like Fallon, Stephanie's winning this match. What goes next for Fallon Henley, I think, is the main roster. I was a little bit surprised she wasn't called up last year because I thought it was time. I was expecting her and Kiana James to go up, but Kiana James is doing nothing, so maybe it's better for Fallon to stay in NXT. But I think for her, she has to go to the main roster now. As for Stephanie Vaquer, I think the big match everyone wants to see is her as the North American Women's Champion going up against Giulia, who will still be the NXT Women's Champion. I think that match will be huge. I hope it happens at WrestleMania weekend for Stand and Deliver. I think that would be freaking awesome. It might be the best match on the whole weekend. I can't wait for that if we get to see it. Even if it doesn't happen in a couple of months, I hope we eventually get to see it down the line because I think that match, when it happens at NXT, it's going to be awesome. But we have a new champion here. Stephanie Vaquer wins the NXT Women's North American Championship. It's so hard to say that. You hit it wrong one time, you feel like you messed up. Anyway, next we have what I think. I'm not sure what the main event's going to be. I'm just going to say the women's next, even though I think the women probably should go and be in the main event because I like that match more than the NXT men's match. But we'll say the women's right now because, tentatively speaking, usually the men go on last, the NXT male championship. So we'll go with the women. We have the NXT Women's Championship defended in a Fatal 4-Way match. Originally going to be a triple threat. Now it's a Fatal 4-Way after Cora Jace defeated Bayley on NXT this past week. We have your NXT Women's Champion, Giulia, defending her title against Bayley, Cora Jade, and the former champion, Roxanne Perez. So, I think the winner, we can all guess. Or, not guess. We can all figure out who the winner is going to be, and there's no reason for this person not to retain the belt because she just won it, and that's Giulia. So, Giulia's winning. So, I want to talk a little bit more about the match, the triple threat to the Fatal 4-Way, and what's next for each one of these women. I think the match would have been a lot better as a triple threat match. Giulia, Bayley, Roxanne's awesome. A Fatal 4-Way with Cora Jade. I don't dislike Cora Jade at all, but she's not the best worker, so I can see a situation where the match isn't as good. But because you have three great workers, it can still work. It can still work fine. You can hide Cora in places. The three of them, I'm sure they're going to rehearse the match. Bayley's very good still. Roxanne's one of my favorites. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the whole company. And Giulia, we know she's one of the best there is, one of the best ever. She's awesome. So, those three will have a great match. Cora, I don't know how much she can do, but they can hide her in places. And they can really, if the match is very choreographed, which it usually is, and I don't mind it, I kind of like it in a way. I think the match can deliver very well, and it can become a great match still. Now, I already said Giulia's winning. What's next for her? I already mentioned with Stephanie Vaquer. I really want to see Giulia and Stephanie Vaquer stand and deliver. I think that's a dream match. Hopefully we get to see that. Even if that's not what we're going to get, hopefully we can see it in the future. But Giulia's going to be NXT Women's Champion for quite some time. They've made a significant investment in her. She is a star in NXT, and she will be a star on the main roster. Bayley, I'm not sure what's next for Bayley. I can see a situation where she's not winning this match, but I can see something where she doesn't wrestle at WrestleMania, but she wrestles at Stand and Deliver when she faces Roxanne Perez. I think that'd actually be better. Yeah, she's going to miss out at WrestleMania. I mean, she did win the title last year, so it's not like she hasn't done anything in a while. But even if she misses WrestleMania, getting to do a Stand and Deliver in front of a really hot crowd, I think that against Roxanne Perez, I think that'd actually be, in some ways, a better choice than just being in some multi-person women's tag team match, which I think is probably the most likely scenario for her if she's on the card. So hopefully you can see Bayley and Roxanne at Stand and Deliver. That they're going to have a singles match eventually. Or maybe it's at WrestleMania, you never know. So now for Roxanne Perez, she is a star. She will be in the Elimination Chamber. I have no doubt she's going to go over Raquel Rodriguez on Raw, and she will be in the Elimination Chamber. I think they're positioning her the same way they did Tiffany Stratton when they debuted her last year. Her first match, I believe, was in the Chamber. So I think they have Roxanne for the same trajectory. I think right now she's the favorite to win the Money in the Bank for the women's. She's going to be a star on the main roster, no doubt. I think she'll have feud with Bayley, which she'll obviously win. She'll defeat Bayley, and I think, everything's in front of her. She's going to be a big star. Cora Jade's interesting because she's limited in the ring. I don't think I should call her up right away. Even though I didn't mind the match she had with Bayley on NXT, I think she can use more work. Have her stay there for a few more months at least. I don't know, a whole year, but I think she can stay in NXT. And I wouldn't mind her and Roxanne as a heel team on the main roster, if they can ever do that. She's just like Roxanne's sidekick. But for Cora, they like her. They wouldn't put her in this match if they didn't see something in her. So I'm sure she'll have a spot on the main roster. Maybe, I don't think she's coming after WrestleMania, but perhaps before the year's end. Now, the NXT Championship, the main event, a triple threat match. Why was this made a triple threat match? Well, because the NXT men's division sucks. This is why Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are being used in NXT. It has one of the worst men's division in its history. The NXT men's division is terrible. I hate it. There's nothing to it. You have Oba Femi, who's okay as champion. I don't think he has much personality, but he's okay. And then you have Trick, who's great, obviously, but Trick's going to the main roster soon anyways. So you have nothing. That's why they were so desperate to make Ricky Starks show to be such a star when they debuted him on NXT, because the men's division really sucks. So that's also why they're calling down two names from the main roster. Two guys who were once heels and NXT stars, NXT, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And it's going to be a triple threat with Oba Femi, who is your NXT champion. He's defending against A-Town Down Under. Who's winning this match? Wow. I mean, let's guess. It's obviously going to be Oba Femi. So we know that. What's next for them? Oba Femi, I think, is NXT for a while. He's not going to the main roster anytime soon. He should still remain NXT champion. I think the most likely scenario is he'll eventually drop the belt to Ricky Starks. As for the other two, it's interesting. Grayson Waller's a guy who, if things don't turn around for him on the main roster, I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be in the company. And Austin Theory is the kind of guy where I'm just not a fan. I don't see anything in him. I think Vince McMahon really loved him. He saw him as this good-looking guy who's very marketable. I just find the guy very boring. I never got into Austin Theory. I kind of groan whenever I see him. There's nothing to him. It just seems so generic to me. I don't see anything much as for him being a star. The fact that he beat John Cena at WrestleMania 2 years ago is just bullshit. He just did not deserve that. He shouldn't have ever been in that position. It just annoys me that they pushed him that much. I don't see much in him. Even if he left the company to go be a bigger star somewhere else, a place that would make him a top star, I wouldn't care. I don't find him interesting. So, Grayson Waller too, not a fan. I just don't like A-Town Down Under. They don't entertain me. I find them boring, generic, kind of grown. I think they're overexposed. As for who's winning this match, I already said that. I mean, we can bet the host Oba Femi's winning this match. He's retaining his title. He's going to win, and I guess what they'll do, actually, the storyline is they're going to tease Ascension and A-Town Down Under once again. They've only been teasing that for the last year, but I guess they'll go back to that. I don't see them having a match at WrestleMania. Maybe they'll have a match at Stand and Deliver, I don't know. But they ain't having a match at WrestleMania at this point. So, yeah, Oba Femi wins, and that's my predictions. Hopefully, for the surprise, it's something we're not expecting. Something crazy happens and makes us all talking like we all did last Tuesday night. So, we'll see what the big shock is for NXT Vengeance Day, and we'll find out this Saturday night. Hopefully, we get a great show.